Hello, everybody. It's Dave Silent, Ernie Otwell. Welcome to episode 12 of Step Into the Paranormal. So, at this point, you're hearing my phone in the background because I'm actually tracking stuff. So, as we get started on this 12th episode,
I apologize for being late.
he did it, not me this time.
I tried my best. Today just was a little busy, and you know how things like that go.
I don't feel tardy.
We have a very special guest tonight.
Well, before we do the guests, I came home the other night and I had something weird on my doorstep.
Yeah, so did I.
It was weird. We got these books. So these books have lots of. Apparently, we have a wonderful stalker. Thank you. Nobody's fessed up to it. We have a idea who did it. Zoodle.
Look at Stewie on the back.
And I got Grace and Rose on the back. So they made awesome books.
We know who did it.
We know who did it.
We know who did it.
So, yeah, that's where we're at with that. With that said,
Heard we have a special guest tonight.
we do.
I mean a special guest, not special like you special.
I'm not special.
So, want to introduce our guest there,
yes,
Mr. Seiler?
the beautiful, the wonderful,
Lovely.
the gorgeous Miss Cindy Thompson.
How you doing, Cindy?
Hi, guys. You're so sweet.
Come on, you got to say your catchphrase now before we start.
Okay, I was going to say, hi, everybody.
Where we hear that from?
There's
That's right. For those of you that don't know, Cindy is from Paratalk Radio with Ted, who was supposed to be on last episode, but things got jacked up and we had to reschedule him.
Yeah, I had an internet lossage. He was sick. We had lots of technical difficulties. And then this past week, I've been down with pneumonia. I've been out of work for a week now.
Yeah, I've actually been sick since I've been sick since we had our last event at the Prince's house. I started getting sick that night, if you remember.
Yep.
And it was
and he
down,
gave it to me.
It was downhill from there. But
Yep.
Miss Cindy.
How you doing, baby?
I'm good, guys. I'm trying to get on the show, but it's not working out properly.
I sent you a link. Maybe it'll make your life easy.
I did do it by that, but I can hear it playing in my ear, so I don't know if it'll give feedback for you guys, because I know when our guests listen at the same time and don't have the volume down,
Yep.
it'll give you guys feedback.
It does, because you've got about a 4 or 5 second delay.
Right.
Yep. So
I guess I won't be able to get on there.
So,
maybe I could just forward it.
we will get like.
Okay.
Aaliyah, that's all, folks. So, you tell us. What have you been doing lately?
So I have just been getting ready for the holidays, and taking care of the family. I am literally like mom to the nth degree right now, because between doing readings and the show and being a mom, I am busy.
Did you resolve the Halloween incident?
Oh, listen, the Halloween incident, the boys did not go trick-or-treating. Well, I shouldn't say that. Jansen left in the pouring rain, as did my daughter.
Oh, Lord.
And we did resolve it.
Very
Everybody is now on a better page, and absolutely.
So, Cindy,
Yes, Lovey.
you ready for some questions?
Sure. Fire away.
Far away.
The one you asked me off air of how I tolerate Dave Seiler, I'll answer that after the show when I call you.
He did not say that.
Well, for those watching, listening, or whatever, everyone knows Cindy is a psychic medium, and she is one of the co-hosts of Paratalk Radio, how this podcast came to be, her and Ted. But Cindy...
I've got to use my $3 word. Our affiliate station, WLFE DB Radio.
Cindy,
That's right.
how did you how did you discover or realize or figure out the gifts that you have?
Well, so it is, I actually had just gone to Florida driving down with my best friend and her husband, and I forgot to call my mom back and tell her that we had arrived safely. So it was then around 9 o'clock at night, and my mom was kind of frantic, asking if I had talked to my aunt. And I was worried because I thought that, something was wrong with one of my cousins or something. And we decided to do a three-way call. And my aunt had gone to a psychic that day with her friend. It was her friend's reading. And during the middle of the reading, her friend's reading was interrupted. And the medium began talking to my aunt, asking if she knew Cindy. And my aunt finally came to my niece, and she said, yes, Cindy, and proceeded to give her a message for me. And by the way, my aunt was still up here in Rochester at the time that I was in Florida for vacation. And the medium proceeded to tell my aunt that I was white Wicca, that candle magic was my proficiency, and that my gifts are her gifts. And there was a few other things, but then she ended it with, tell her not to use the cards. Well, when my aunt relayed this to me, I about fell off of my chair because on the way down to Florida, I had brought my tarot deck. Mm-hmm. And I told the universe, I said, listen, if you don't want me using these, you better hit me over the head with the message because otherwise I won't listen. Mm. Well, let me tell you, I was hit over the head with that message.
Nice.
And I was 25. I was about to be 26 in a month, not even. And I felt like I had just had the world shifted, like pulling the sword from the stone for King Arthur, And I went to the same psychic medium 2 weeks to the day later. And the only thing she had was my name and my phone number in case she needed to cancel or anything had come up. And my aunt told me she was coming with me. And my aunt said, do you remember me? I was here about 2 weeks ago. And she's like, no, sorry, I don't remember you at all. And she proceeded to say verbatim the message that she had given my aunt. And, of course, there was a lot more to it. But then she came to the point and she said it verbatim. It was wild to me. She said, my gifts are your gifts. And I said, stop right there. What does that mean? And she said, one day you'll read for others as I'm reading for you right now.
Wow. So nice. you didn't realize all this until you were 25.
So I knew I was weird. I did weird stuff. I would give dream analysis during the cafeteria lunchtime when I was 15. I mean, I had dreams of all of my boyfriends before I've ever had them, starting with my very first one at 14. I just have always done weird things, and I never understood.
So was that just, you just wrote it off as kind of being normal, like that's just the way you are? Or?
Yes, well, I can remember my brother and I playing with a ghost boy. I was literally 11, and I can remember us all playing with him, and I thought it was normal. I thought everybody could see ghosts. Right. It wasn't until I was a little older that I'm like, ooh, don't say that to people because they won't understand.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Now, is that something like, when you say you were to go somewhere with Dave and I, or, over the holidays, you go to someone's house that you've never been. When you get there, is that something you can turn on and off, or is it always on? If it makes sense, how does that work?
So I have what I call is a security system. So Spirit kind of keeps me on lockdown so I'm not super overwhelmed.
Right.
And maybe it's just from doing this for so long, I just have adapted this, But Spirit will let me know if I go someplace, if I say I'm out, and we're even at a restaurant, and if I'm supposed to give somebody a message, I will go up to them and I will let them know, hey, I'm a medium. Do you know what that is? I have a message. Do you mind if I give you the message? I try to ask permission, but I always honor it and make sure I give the message. So whether I'm out in public or a private residence, it doesn't matter. If Spirit wants me to get the message, I'll get the message.
Now, how do you receive the message?
Multitude of ways. It can be a smell. It can be a visual. It can be sounds. It can be a feeling. There are so many ways that I get messages. I thought that, for the most part, I think I'm a visual feeling kind of person.
Right.
But I still have all of the other ones that I think I've gotten them all up to be about the same proficiency, I suppose. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
wild.
That's always my biggest question. I mean, with all the psychic mediums that we know, like, can you turn it on and off? You know what I mean? Because I
I
just
would love to say I can turn it on and off. I can't necessarily. I literally. So we have chakras, which are psychic energy points in our body. So from your root chakra to your sacral chakra to your solar plexus chakra, your heart chakra, your throat chakra, your third eye chakra to your crown chakra.
right.
And in the colors of the rainbow from the root chakra up to the crown chakra. Those are our psychic energy points. And I always leave mine open. So basically I'm always on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I can always, and if I shut my chakras, I feel very disoriented. It's just a very, it's a very uneasy feeling for me. It's like trying to learn to walk after you've been in a car accident and you haven't been able to walk for a while.
Now,
you know what I mean? It's
the
very
whole,
a weird feeling.
The whole medium gift, is that something that's passed down, like hereditary, or?
So that's a great question, number one. Well, let's hit it. Because we never talked about psychic abilities or stuff. When I was a kid, we always thought my mom had eyes in the back of her head because she always knew what we were doing when we were doing it.
Right.
So and my sister and I would play and do psychic things, move things with our mind. We would do things and we would play with these things. So do I think that it's hereditary? Absolutely. I believe that my grandmother had some gifts. I believe my mother had some gifts. And not only that, I believe that both sides of my family had gifts. So both of my grandmothers especially, I think, had gifts. And my children all have gifts as well. They're all have psychic gifts, all three of them.
Now, do you think? I know this is a very broad question. Based on the percentage of our brains that we use, do you think, like, deep inside, everyone has some sort of gift that they just don't know how to bring out, don't know how to use or control?
So that's exactly what I was going to hit next. I believe everybody's psychic, Ernie. I firmly believe that. Do I think everybody is exactly like me? No, and thank God, because I don't think I would wish that on anybody, because it can be pretty damn overwhelming and draining. I mean, what you guys see for me when we're at events or when I'm doing an event or just a psychic party or even readings, what you guys don't see is the after effects of Cindy. Like, you see me all bubbly and high, basically, right? On psychic. I call it my psychic high. What you don't see is the several days after that I'm drained because I've expended so much energy.
The paranormal hangover, that's what we call it.
It is. It really is. It is so difficult some days. Like, I'm like, man, I feel like a bad mom right now. I'm sorry, guys.
But
I can't
you know
make
what's
dinner right now.
You know what's funny though? I guess we've been friends with you about 2.5 years now, and we've done several events together, and we even briefly, for a few minutes, had you on our podcast on Halloween. But this is actually the first time that we've ever talked about your psychic side.
Yep.
I agree.
You know, because I try, when we go out to those events and all, and we're there for the weekend or whatever, I don't ask people business.
don't
you know
step
what
on-
I mean?
step
I don't,
on their side of the fence.
I we're there for what we're there for, and I don't ever want to feel like I'm imposing or Cindy, what do you see? I just let, if I was to go to a work convention, I don't want to talk about work. We're there just to have fun. You know what I mean? And I guess that's why
I got to go to Sachs Bridge with her.
Yeah, no,
was
I
cool.
chose to stay in the room that night and eat cheese puffs and watch Family Guy and rest. That was it's always so, those events are always so exhausting. Like 2 years ago, he was talking about 2 years ago when we were at the Bash, and I wasn't scheduled to come into town till the following day, but I got home from work like 8 o'clock that morning. I think I took like a 3-hour nap, and Mike King started like text messaging me, like busting my chops about not being there. So I packed up early and hit the road, and by the time the event was over that first night when I got into town, man, I was just done. I mean, I had worked 12 hours and slept 3 in the morning and came right up there. So I took advantage of being alone in a quiet hotel room and just, crashed till the next morning.
Yeah, I can imagine. And, it's great when I can meet people, even though they know I'm a psychic medium. I think it's great that I can just be Cindy, right? Just Cindy.
Yeah. Right.
And that we got to know each other as just Cindy.
Well, see, that goes right along with what I'm saying is, I don't, I'm not going to come up and ask you psychic medium stuff. You know what I mean? That's, you know what I mean? You got to give it a, so.
I appreciate that. I do. I appreciate that.
Now, when, like, everyone has those moments of, like, a deja vu type moment or.
All over again.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, I've been here or I've already heard it or whatever. Is that something coming through on people that don't know that they have maybe a gift? Is that what that is, or is it just coincidence?
No, I don't. So first of all, I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in synchronicity, and that everything happens for a reason. Everything is supposed to jibe at the right time.
I just said that to Dave right before we went live. We were discussing a personal issue, and me being late tonight coincided with something
else
and
that happened.
it worked out. And I always say that, Cindy, and I can't reiterate this enough, and this goes along with the good and the bad, and this is just my personal opinion. Absolutely everything in life. Now, this is coming from me. It's coming more from my religious beliefs, but I feel good or bad, everything in life happens for a reason. And everybody's, when something bad happens, their first question is, "Oh God, why are you letting this happen?" Or why are you doing this to me? And at that moment, we're not supposed to know.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to know. And in the end, it all comes together, and it may take years, but you'll look back and you'll say, "Wow, now I see if this." Yeah, exactly. And I'm a firm believer of that. And
I've always said when God closes the door, he opens a window. It might be a narrow window, and I can't get my fat can through it, but it's definitely he opens a window. And in the last year and a half, you kind of know what's going on with me. I don't kind of announce it everywhere, but just things have been either lining up. Like even tonight, something happened where if we went live at 7, we would have had an issue. So so it kind of lined up. It was really weird.
So you guys have to know and understand that, I just always think that the things that happen are for a reason or a lesson that we have to learn.
Right.
Okay.
I think that it's always something. And it's so funny that you just mentioned this, because I literally was just looking at a journal that I had written in 5 years ago. And I had no idea the information that I was getting from my meditations in this journal at that point. And I'm looking at them and rereading them, and I'm like, What in the heck is going on? Because I completely and totally understand it now.
Right.
Well, when I was younger, I used to get these like really weird deja vus.
Yeah.
It would almost start almost like I was an awake dream, and my eyes would go like a little bit fuzzy, and I could kind of see what was going on to happen, and I'd have to change something to make it stop.
Interesting.
And I used to be able to do that from like all through my teen years into my 20s, and it just suddenly stopped. I haven't had one in a long time.
Wow.
That's interesting. Maybe you closed something that you were not wanting to utilize at that moment anymore. maybe you chose to be more left-brained or rather than right-brained, right? I mean, it could be a conscious decision that we make. I mean, I can remember dreaming so many things before they actually happened, and I didn't know for a long time that people didn't dream in color. Like, I thought everybody dreamed in color, but they don't. So even when I see, when I have visions, a lot of times I'll have them in color. But like you, I can be totally alert and awake, and all of a sudden I'm thrust into a different place or time, and I'm watching something occur or understand. It's almost like watching a movie in my mind. Does that make sense?
It is. Because, you know, like, he's going to open that, and then he opens that, and that's going to happen. And, like, I have to change a direction or facing or change something to get it to stop. It was really bizarre.
Well, the funny part, what we do at my house is my daughter really likes to get my goat. Loves to get my goat. And so I'll say, holy crow, deja vu. And she's like, how about now? How about now? Still got it? Are you sure?
Tell her you're not going to get mad.
Right, exactly.
You know one thing, though, and it's just, I mean, I know my mind wanders, like, but one thing, and you've heard me say this, too, before, but it's so funny that, like, when Dave and I, when we first started Paranormal Inc., I mean, we were in this field for years, but
yeah.
When we first started Paranormal Inc. is when things started happening kind of quickly for us, which, I mean, we're
still trying to catch up.
Yeah, we're just over the moon with how honored we are with everyone that we know. But the funny thing is, it's, I mean, look at it now, Cindy, where we're at, where you're at, people that we do these events with, that we investigate with, or whatever that we're friends with. I mean, we're literally scattered all over the country. Some people, even in other countries, we deal with.
Right.
And
we actually have a listener, I'm going to mess up the name, Leghan Met from the UK right now watching.
But
fantastic. Hi.
But what I'm getting at, it's so funny how, like you were saying about the universes lining up and this and that. And you know, before we started Paranormal Inc., we didn't realize just the
magnitude,
the world that was going on around us. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
we had our own little small molecule, and we're like, oh wow, this is wild. And then we started.
And I can't say this enough, but you talk about things lining up. We go out and hunt spirits, okay?
Right.
You do. You know, you're a little or a lot more advanced than we are because of your gifts. But at the end of the day, if you look at it, when we all come together, no matter where we are in the world, we all come together, we all know each other. And in reality, it's actually the spirits that brought us all together.
Yeah.
So I think that's a fantastic point, and I agree completely. Because even with every psychic party, even with every group reading on a larger level, I will always be made aware by spirit the reason why we're there.
Right.
Literally, it's because this message needed to get out. This is why I'm here.
And if you think about it from a broader scope. You know, we all do what we do to come up with concrete evidence that there is an afterlife. Now, suppose there's some validity to what we're saying right now about the spirits bringing us all together as friends and as a paranormal family. Maybe we honestly have made some solid contact, and that's what they want. You know what I mean? And that's their way of staying alive
that bond,
or
right.
staying in our realm is by bringing us all together to continue the work that we all do. You know what I mean?
So you've said that twice now, that spirit has brought us together to be friends. And each time that you said it, Ernie, I got the chills and the goosebumps, which means the truth has been spoken. And if you could hear, my son even said it in the background.
Right.
I literally say that to everybody because I firmly believe that when you get the chills and the goosebumps, it means the truth has been spoken.
I mean,
From
it's
your
true.
lips to God's ears or goddess's ears, whomever you believe in,
Right.
whatever it is, that there's the truth has been spoken, and
Right.
there is a reason that we've been brought together. I firmly believe that.
That's why I think I mean, don't get me wrong, when we get in front of this camera and we get, whether you're on our show, we're on your show, I mean, our personalities come out and we cut up and we laugh and we joke, and it's to have fun. That's why we do this, to have fun. This is definitely a stress breaker. You know what I mean? But
I agree.
The funny thing is when we go on an investigation, I mean, it's time to put in work, and we're serious.
Yep.
And
it's so funny. I was just talking about that with one of my clients, which is, it's funny because I have this very outgoing personality. You guys know that. But when it's time for me to do a reading, I switch gears.
Right.
I'm completely in a different space.
And
Whether it's a reading, whether it's a past life regression,
right.
whatever it is now professional Cindy.
Yep.
And see,
it's no longer, I mean, Spirit will still have me joke if I need to joke, but it's definitely a different gear.
And it's funny, too, because, like, when we do this podcast, I mean, Dave and I, man, we laugh and joke, and we have a good time with it.
Right.
But then, I don't know if it's a business side of it, or if it's just how I am in person, but I could sit in front of this camera and talk for the next 6 hours and probably never run out of things to say. However, when I'm in person, I don't have a lot to say. Yeah. And you don't know how many times people have, watched 10 episodes of Step Into the Paranormal. They come to an event, they're face-to-face with me, and then later on they're like, "Can I ask you a question?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." "Is something wrong? Are you okay?" You haven't said 2 words all day, and I'm like, that. I don't know why. I mean, I don't like to think that I'm shy or something, but it's just funny when I'm face to face with people. I'm the
loudmouth anyway around it, so I'm just a loudmouth.
Now, what you see sitting next to him is what you get when he's on an investigate.
I'm always on unless I'm sleeping or dead.
Dave never changes. But it's good.
Spirit will just. Listen, if they don't have me laughing and joking with my clients, I mean, come on.
Right.
They literally will make fun. Spirit will make fun of me if I don't get the joke.
Right.
Literally, I'm not kidding. So I do, when it's a reading, it's one thing. Doing a past life regression is completely different. I have to listen, I have to pay attention. It's not about what Spirit's saying to me, it's me tuning in to them and their experience. So there are 2 different experiences and 2 different Cindys in some sense. But even just doing a reading, I have to be very open to the universe.
Right.
When it's just Cindy, I can just be like, wah, balls to the wall, right?
So I'm going to do this now. It's been 2.5 years we've been friends. I've never asked you a business question.
Hey, Ernie, don't put your hand. No,
I'm gonna ask you one business question.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
So
well, it's funny. So the things that you've been talking about, Spirit has already prompted me. They already talked to me about that I believe everybody's psychic. That you, Dave, and I all being friends previous and for a reason. And they also told me that I would be doing a little reading for you.
Well, I'll just ask my question.
Perfect.
5 minutes ago, we were talking about, it's the spirits that brought us together, and not just to be friends, but maybe they brought us together, so we would continue researching and trying to make contact and prove there's an afterlife. So, in saying all that, do you believe that's true? That's exactly why we're all together and why we're doing what we do? And
I definitely believe that we are all together for a reason. I believe that Spirit has a plan for all of us. Do I know what that plan is at this moment? No, but that's not what I'm supposed to know right now.
Right.
Listen, when it comes down to it, Spirit and I do a lot of talking while I sleep. I'm not a really good sleeper. I've never been a really good sleeper. I'm a tosser, a turner. I do work while I sleep. I don't remember a lot of what I do while I sleep. So I do believe that there are a lot of things that I don't know, and this is just one of them. I don't know what our placement is right at the moment.
right.
Wouldn't it be fantastic if I could
Oh, it would be awesome.
know that?
It would be
Because
awesome.
then I could plan my life so much easier, guys, right?
Yeah,
I feel like, okay, here is this, and this. I need to plan for this.
I'd make life easy. I'd be calling you for tomorrow's lotto numbers. You know.
Oh, listen, Dave. If I don't know if I'd give them out. I mean, I'd be using it myself.
Yeah, you gotta hook a brother up. You know.
How many times when people find out what you're able to do they ask you, hey, what's the lottery number going to be?
Listen, it's one of two questions for the most part. Overall, it's one of two questions, maybe three. First one, oh, well, what's my name?
Right.
What? I'm not omniscient. What
Oh, my
the
God.
heck? Number two, what's the lottery numbers? My answer is literally, do you think I'd give them to you if
Right.
I was given the lottery numbers?
The funny part is, years ago when I firstly got married, my wife's grandmother, she used to play the lottery all the time. I'd go out and play like the 3-digit, couldn't hit worth a diddly. But I would call her up and give her, every now and then I'd just get a 3-digit number and I'd be like, Grandma, go play this. And she'd play it and win a couple $100.
Well, it's funny you say
That's
that
amazing.
because every time, and people, you can ask people I work with, once in a while, I got this thing with, I'm like I have like almost an eidetic memory when it comes to numbers. Like,
Oh, that's cool.
it's really weird. Like, another cop at work can call over the radio for a report number. The dispatcher will read off the report number. And then, 2 days later, he might come on the air and say, I'm doing a follow-up. Can you give me that report number from, 2 nights ago? And I remember it. But different story. But once in a while,
That's cool.
I'll dream of a number. And
Interesting.
it never hits if I play it. But normally, and it doesn't happen often, a couple times a year, I'll dream of a number. And if I don't play it but tell other people, it usually hits within 2 weeks. And I've actually had people at work.
Hook a brother up.
I've actually had people at work hit the 3 or 4 digit. Yeah, and it just seems when I play it,
Yep,
it don't
doesn't
hit.
doesn't hit for me either.
Because
Right?
everybody's like, well, why didn't you play it? And I'm like, because then it wouldn't have
It
hit.
wouldn't hit.
But
Listen, this is the funny part is people say, because then they'll say, oh, well, should you even play it if you were given the numbers? Well, why the heck not?
Right.
I'm human. Why
Yeah.
can't I have money too? Just
Yeah.
because I was given the numbers?
I take donations. I'm going
No.
to Jerry's Kids. Yeah.
so, how did you come to meet Ted?
So, I, being on Facebook, let's see, I've had my Psychic Cindy page, facebook.com/Psychic Cindy, capital P, capital C. I had my Psychic Cindy page and my regular Cindy page for, my gosh, I think it's 10 years now, maybe 11. But I had graduated with a guy, and his girlfriend at the time, they hadn't gotten married yet. It was in Palmyra, New York, and Ted was doing an investigation there with GVPI, and she requested me, from what my understanding is. Christy requested me, and so Ted called me in, and asked me to do this with him. And I said, he started to tell me about, I said, nope, you can't tell me anything about it. I don't want to know anything about this place. I said, I would rather be able to have somebody that can corroborate the activity when I'm there. So if the people who live there, somebody can be there, or if you know enough about it, that's fine. But I don't want anybody to tell me, and I just want to be corroborated.
Mm-hmm.
Or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was 5 or 6 years ago now. And ever since then, Teddy has used me on several occasions for investigations.
How far do you
we
guys?
have a couple different ones.
How far do you and Ted live from each other? Because I know you're both upstate New York.
Yeah, we're about an hour away from each other. Ted's in Avon. I'm in Williamson.
Okay.
And our studio for our show is in Ontario, which is much closer to me. Teddy has to drive an hour to get to studio each way.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so when Palmyra is about 20 minutes from me or so, and so it's probably still about an hour from Ted.
How did you guys start Paratalk Radio?
Well, I didn't. I came in. I'm the last person that's been on the show with them. He started it. I think it's been 3 years now, because I've been on there for almost February. It'll be 2 years for me, I believe. But yeah, he was doing it for about a year, 2 years before I got involved with it, and he had a couple of co-hostesses. Mm-hmm. Rebecca Bruno being the one right before me. She's just adorable.
Right.
And she just couldn't do it anymore because she was doing her music and her job and
Right.
personal life, and she just got too busy and couldn't do it. Well, the funny part is I had lost my job that day. I was working at BJ's Wholesale Club. I had just lost my job. Teddy had called me for some reason, and I told him, I'm like, look, I just lost my job, and he's like, well, how would you like to be the co-host of my radio show? And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, I need a new co-host because Becca can't do it anymore. And I'm like, stop it. I'm like, heck yeah, I'll do it. And that was the 12th of February, and the 19th of February was my first show, and that was, 2018?
Well, I tell you, because the first time we met you and Ted
Mm-hmm.
was the summer of 2017. I think
2018. It had to have been 2018, actually.
No.
So it's only been a year and a half, almost. Yeah.
18?
Yeah, it was
Yep.
summer 2018.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
we were
that was first
at
batch.
we were at no
Haldeman.
we met you in the summer of 2017.
Haldeman Mansion.
Haldeman Mansion Paracon, yes.
Oh, are you? No, because I wasn't on Paratalk until 2018. So that was May of 2018 that we met.
Yep. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
2018.
No, man, that was the first. No, Cindy, seriously, because that is when we started Paranormal Inc. Was
Yeah.
the end of summer of 2017.
He's actually
And
right.
it was our second Paracon as Paranormal Inc.
Yeah.
And it was at the Haldeman Mansion. And
Yeah, you were there.
You and Ted were there. That's where we met you guys.
Hang on. I'll tell you.
We're all getting old. That's what it is.
We were at Mike King's table. We were set up at Mike King's table for
directly
that
across from
Paracon.
you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
That's true.
And that was the first time I got to hold your hand.
But that was the first time we met you guys.
Yeah. Was 27? Yeah, 17, 18,
Yeah.
19. Yeah.
And I tell you, last January was the first time you guys had us on Paratalk Radio.
Yeah.
So no, I just went through my journal. I happen to have my journal here. And my dad died in 2017, November 14th of 2017, and my boss at the time, who was one of my friends who I've worked with several times, his dad died in December of 2017, and it wasn't until February 12th of 2018 that I was fired. It really was 2018.
He's going to look at his calendar. He's getting senile now.
I got pictures from that day.
He got Kodak moment.
Hang on.
He's scrolling. He's going, I'm going to find this.
I'm going through my 20 million pictures right now.
Further back. There you go.
Here you go. Here you go. Right here. This is it right here. Look, there's me and Mike King.
What's it? What's it? Pull it down. When is that? Christmas?
Wait a minute. Hang on.
September 2017.
September 2017.
Pull one of the pictures up. Put it on the camera.
Here is. Hang on.
He won, Cindy.
Hang on. I'll pull a picture up of me and Mike King.
Yep.
Well, maybe you guys did one with Mike King at Haldeman before me, but I didn't go to Haldeman until
Is there
2018.
Is there one with them on it?
There's one. I can't find it, but I'm standing in front of the Paratalk radio banner.
Hang on, I'm gonna go to.
When did you say it was, Cindy? What month?
I don't know.
It should have been May of 2018, I believe.
All right. I mean, I may be absolutely wrong, but maybe I'm just running my dates together.
Yeah, we kind of blend after a while. So is that the one where?
No, I got. Wait a minute. Cindy, my apologies.
She wins.
My apologies.
Right there.
Here you go. There's a picture of me in front of their banner.
And when is that? What month is that?
That was.
He sprung a leak.
June.
June of.
It was either June or
May.
Yeah, you're right,
June,
Cindy.
yeah.
I apologize. I ran two Paracons together.
He's blending. Yeah, you ate your cookies with Mike on the other one.
But yeah, but we were so excited to be when we we were like, holy crap, we hit it big. We're on Paratalk Radio next week, and we were so excited about it. And that's going to be almost a year ago already. We were on,
wow,
because that's where the Parabutter.
It could have been in June.
That's
I
where
can't remember exactly.
That's the night the Parabutter was invented. Remember?
Yes.
But we can't talk about that on this podcast.
Yeah, this podcast is rated G for general audiences.
Yes. Well, I've already been being very good. You understand that, right?
Yes.
I know. We are so thankful too, because we have so many like we once a year we sponsor the
SOS.
the SOS teen camp, and there's a lot of people that
Yes, that's so great. I love that.
there's a lot of people that follow our page, and their kids follow our page and watch, and I might slip and throw a hell in there every now and then, but we really try to, and we appreciate everybody respecting.
Yeah, I gotta say hi to Jaden and hi to Fainting Goat Callista.
What's up, guys? This is so funny, Cindy. You're gonna get a kick out of this. One of my best friends in high school, that was a long time ago, we finally came back in contact over Facebook, and he's in Ohio, my friend Gary. And driving out, he's real up to date on keeping track of everything we post on our Paranormal Inc. page. And
I love that.
he was making he made a comment the other day, it was nice being back in touch with you. He goes, you continue chasing ghosts, I'll continue chasing the ladies. Which, Gary was a ladies' man. I guess he still is now that we're in our 50s. Yeah. But I always remember Gary saying, man, and I don't know why he would always tell me this, but and he's going to laugh when he hears me say this, but he used to say, there's 3 things in life that I am terrified of: spiders, snakes, and dead people. And I'm like, here he is, man. I can't even get something posted on Paranormal Inc. page before he's all over it. And I'm like, hey, you know what?
Amazing.
Yeah, but it's so funny, man. He's always used to say how he's scared of dead people.
Thank God I'm not scared of dead people, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm more afraid of living than I am the dead anyway.
You want to take a
Right, David.
20-second commercial break real quick?
Real.
No. He's trying to get me to take a commercial break, and we're already running late. No, he's going to step out for a pause for the cause. So here, what I'll do is I'm supposed to do something freaky in the middle of this, so I'll scream once. I'll laugh at people, and then I'll think about things. Oh, wrong one. But
All right, I'm back. I had to get a little shot of coffee.
You had to do what?
Get
a
little
shot of coffee.
Shot of coffee.
Oh, shot of coffee.
Yeah.
So how far away is your guys' studio? Like from you guys? Or
My-
do you do it from one of your homes?
my studio is about maybe all of 8 seconds from my living room.
Fantastic.
And I'm about 20 minutes away.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
So yeah,
fantastic.
you're looking when you're looking at the video right now. This is my dining room wall right here. We're actually on my dining room table. So
Oh, nice. I love it.
so if we actually looked up and left where the light source is up here, that's actually my chandelier. I just shift the table a little bit down so you don't see it.
Perfect.
He's a
That's
pretty
awesome.
creative guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if everybody notices now, do you see I'm actually really taller than Ernie? I got real chairs. So
Well, see, he was so much like when we would sit side by side, I would look like a dwarf. So he would sit in one of those. I would sit in the dining room chair,
and I have a folding chair.
and he'd have one of those, the folding like camping
Lawn-
chairs.
Yep, lawn chairs.
He would sit in that, and it would put us
And
even.
it'd be like this. I'd
Yeah.
be down here.
But now he masterminded so that we're almost
Almost the same height.
almost the same height.
That way he's not vertically challenged.
I'm vertically challenged.
How tall are you? You are a little bit short. You're a little bit shorter than me.
I am. I'm 5'3" and 1/4 to 1/2.
Oh, my
Depends
God,
on
that's
which
just-
doctor I go see.
I am 5'8".
I am 6'6" at some doctors and 6'5" at other doctors.
Right. See, you understand what I'm talking
It's
Yep.
funny though because like we were laughing. Somebody made the comment like when we do these paranormal events and all, everybody's taller than me, and there's only one person that's shorter than me, Cindy, and it's your favorite person. Who's shorter than me?
Mike?
Mike King.
My king.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love Mike King. If you remember, when I went to Haldeman Mansion, I was fangirling about Mike.
Ah!
Do you
Mike's a
guys
great
remember
guy.
that? I
Yep.
was so excited because Ghost of Shepherdstown was one of my favorites.
Right.
I would sit here and watch it with my boys. We loved Ghost of Shepherdstown. And then I found out that I was going to meet Mike King. Listen, I was so excited. I was all over it.
He's Mike's such I can't even
Awesome person.
I
Awesome.
can't even
That's-
put into
there's no
words
words.
what kind of guy
He
Mike
so
is.
down to earth.
Yep.
He's such a good human being.
But-
And he'd give you the shirt off his back.
It's
Yes,
so
he
funny
did.
because we all like when we had him on here or he goes on investigation, whatever.
yes.
He's the biggest skeptic you'll ever meet.
Yep.
And he will even tell you.
I love it.
He'll even tell you like coming into season 2 of Shepherdstown, he didn't believe any of it.
He didn't.
He didn't believe nothing. And
Yeah.
it's so funny, like, you take the world's biggest skeptic, who had a TV show and went 2 seasons and this and that, does not believe in the paranormal and will call us and be like, hey, man, you got any investigations coming up? And he's going out and investigating
He's
with
with
us.
us, and
he's
we're like,
actually,
oh, my God.
Mike actually became a very good investigator.
Yeah, he
he's
did.
very knowledgeable.
Yep.
I'm not saying because of us, but I'm saying because he goes out and investigates
Yep.
with us, and
With
he knows,
skepticism.
huh?
With skepticism.
Yes.
That's what makes him a good investigator because he uses skepticism.
And
Yep.
he knows the equipment now. He knows how it works. And Mike's a
Yeah.
hell of an investigator,
Yeah, he is.
man. You know what I
That's
mean?
amazing.
Yep.
But
I know this probably sounds like a dichotomy, but I literally am a skeptic.
right.
I-
Well, you have to
I-
be.
I do. When I'm going to investigate, I tell everybody what I pick up. Everybody, because I've had more than just Ted. I've worked with several different paranormal groups,
Right.
And I am the same way with each paranormal group, which is I am open to what comes through, but I'm also a skeptic. Like I don't I don't want to immediately be like, oh my gosh, what was that noise? Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
what was
you can't do that. And see, I think that's why I get along on a personal level so good with Ted, because the last book he wrote was all about the old school techniques, and I can never remember the name of his books. I mean, I wrote the foreword for the second one, and I still can't remember the name of the darn book. But his second book is all about old school techniques and how you can take things, from around the house.
Recorder and comfortable shoes.
And you can take just ordinary things from around the house and utilize that.
Balloon.
What's that? Right. And you can utilize that into trying to gather evidence. And Dave being the tech guy, he likes all the high dollar, tech toys, which I do too. But, my favorite is a voice recorder and
Polaroid camera.
A digital or Polaroid camera. I mean, you can't go wrong. You know what I mean? And
I agree with that. And so listen, because I'm a skeptic, I don't necessarily trust all of the newfangled equipment that they have.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And I personally am still the same way as Ted, and that's one of the reasons we get along so well, is because we have the same ideals. Number one, as an individual, that is your best tool. You are your best tool.
Yep.
Right.
That's it. Second, then you can go to a flashlight, a recorder, and literally comfortable shoes, because you literally want to be open to the experience. You don't want to react to things going on around you. You want to be open-minded. And I call him ZB. I think you guys know who I'm talking about. And they are always using these crazy things and going, my God, did you hear that EVP?
Cindy,
EVP.
when people will act like, I don't know, wherever we're at, somebody will ask me because we have all the gear that people see on TV and all that stuff. But people will ask me, hey Ernie, what is your favorite piece of equipment, or what do you use when you investigate? And the best way I can sum it up to, because sure, when you go into a residence, a business, and you're there 8, 10, 12 hours investigating, you have to have some kind of gadgets.
Different gadgets. Right.
But, the best advice I give people all the time is use equipment that has a primary function other than
ghost hunting.
Hey, I'm made to find ghosts.
Well,
you know what I mean?
There's pieces of equipment that a lot of people use today that draw little stick figures. Everybody knows what they are.
Yeah.
The thing is, I've actually backwards engineered them, and they have a flaw. And I'm going to let people know. A lot of people have those wonderful SLS cameras. There's a flaw in the programming. If you set that camera down and you let it go by itself, doing nothing to it, and all of a sudden you see something jumping up and down and around, you may have something. But if you're using your hand and tracking around, it is made to detect anomalies and to put what looks like a stick person there, like a human figure, trying to map it out. It's made to do that. So if you're all of a sudden walking through a kitchen and you have a person in front of you and you see a little thing on the wall up here and you're wandering with it, guess what? It's probably just the programming. Whereas if you point it against a room, you back off of it, put your hands up, and nothing
So you're
changes.
saying it is legit.
It can
but
have
it can be
uses.
It can be unconsciously manipulated.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So it can have flaws to it. Absolutely.
So this is the thing, is one of the things that Spirit told me is, I know this probably sounds so crazy to you guys, but Spirit will tell me certain things, and when I saw that, I'm like, what in the heck? That's pretty cool, because I have one of those, right? My sons have that from Xbox. What is it called, Jensen? When we would play the video games, what is the thing that it was called that would pick us up and we could be in it with it?
Right, the cams.
Yeah, the camera one. Remember? Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to remember. He can't think of it either.
That's fine.
Right.
But we had it, so we understood it.
Right.
Yep.
But when they were showing it on ZB's show, I was like, that's not right.
Right.
That's not right. And Spirit was going,
and by no means, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like that camera
Oh
too.
yeah, I love one.
But
I want one.
But the thing is, we're not trying to be disrespectful in any way.
No.
But we're just,
There's a flaw that
Yeah,
I found,
right.
and I'm
Absolutely.
I'll call a pot black when it's black. I'll call it white when it's white. I'll call it green when it's green. I see a
Yeah.
flaw in the programming. ZB actually did a show, one of the shows where they put it like aiming at a hospital bed, and they walked away from it. And all of a sudden, you see what looks like in the bed somebody, like a doctor tending towards the patient.
Yeah.
They were not in the shot. They were not touching the camera. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
if you're in it and all of a sudden see something, it could be a flaw in the programming.
Right. So what
Right.
you're saying, just to put it in layman's terms, if you're manually scanning with it or whatever, and there is an object or something that is for real, and the SLS detects it, it's automatically going to map it as a stick fit.
Right.
Okay, I got it.
So it's
Okay.
going to try to map
That
it,
makes
whether
sense.
it's a tree, whether it's a anomaly, but it'll see an anomaly and try to
Right.
map it as a stick.
So if you do use that, what you're saying is the best is to just
Set it down.
set it down and let it roll.
Yep, set it and forget it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I got you.
I like that. That's great. That's a great way to look at it,
But-
Dave.
But on the other hand, like the K2 meter, the K2 meter is not designed for ghost hunting. The
Right.
K2 meter is designed for electrical leaks for an electrician.
Right. And the
Right,
same with
absolutely.
the same with your thermal cameras
Right.
and stuff like
The floor
that.
cameras,
That's what
right.
I was saying.
Yeah, thermal cameras were definitely
Yeah.
involved with heating and plumbing guys and checking for air.
Now I tell you, Cindy and Dave, a good piece of equipment, and you can have them converted, is I like using my full spectrum camera. It takes the photograph in all three light spectrums. And
Yeah, I like that.
now the reason I tell you, and this is quick, but the reason I like that, we were doing an investigation one night when I was with my old team. One person was using a digital camera, I was using full spectrum. Now they came up with a shadow going across a wall, and it looked completely legit. However, when I took a picture, tried to mimic that picture with my full spectrum, you could see in the full spectrum shot that there was once damage to the wall,
Right.
and they
Puttied it.
like re-puttied it, patched it, and painted over it.
Yes, fantastic.
So when you
Good
take
catch.
when you take it with a digital camera, it actually appeared to be a shadow, when in reality it was just a repair done to the wall that shooting in full spectrum captured.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, how unless you were in regular daytime light and be able to see that curve in the wall,
Yep.
that
Right.
that damage had been there.
Right.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we
Yeah,
actually
I love
got
that. I
What,
Go ahead,
when
sorry.
we were at the haunted trails with you, that got me though is remember right after you guys hugged the tree, we went down the property line. You went down to the left to the grave site, and you were talking to something that wanted you to come under the ground. Do you remember that?
So I only remember a little tiny bit because when I have spirit coming through me, I don't remember because it's not for me.
All right, you kept saying, come under the ground, come under the ground. No, can't come under the ground. Why do you want me to come under the ground? And then I turned around and Ted wasn't there. So I left the group with you. You talking to the grave that was there, and you were talking, I can't come under the ground. I went to go find Ted, and he was down the road with a shovel trying to dig up. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, they're trying to get me to come under the ground. So to me, I mean, you guys do validation that way, which I love.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So, we were almost out of time.
Yeah.
What's interesting is I believe in my gifts. If somebody says to me, so are you good? Because that's one thing that skeptics will often ask me. So are you good? Yes, I'm good at what I do. I trust spirit. I believe in my gifts. So yes, I'm good at what I do.
No, you're
And
damn good, girl.
Thank you. But I trust myself and I trust spirit to give me that. So when I'm validated, it doesn't go on deaf ears, right? I believe in what I'm being given. I am thankful and grateful that I'm validated, right? Do I need to be validated? No, not necessarily. Once upon a time, when I first started out, absolutely. I don't need to be validated anymore. It's not like a huge deal for me. But I trust what I'm given.
Right.
Nice.
And I think that speaks volumes, right?
Yep.
Right. Right.
But I also, because the next thing is like, how dare you think you're good at what you do? Well, why not? If I was a carpenter and thought I was good at what I do, you wouldn't question that, but because I'm a psychic medium?
Right.
Or is it because I'm a woman? Is it because I'm a woman and saying I'm good at what I do? Or is it because I'm a psychic medium and saying I'm good at what I do?
Well, you know what? Whether you're a good psychic medium or a bad psychic medium, the reason Dave and I love you has nothing to do with psychic medium. It has to do with the type of person you are
Yep.
and
Beautiful heart.
how you are when we're with you. And
I love you guys. You guys know that. Like, you guys are my people.
do me
You
a
know
favor.
that.
We're just about out of time. You got to give your buddy Ted our love and
And
respect.
Give yourself anything you want to plug. You get a free plug.
Just that we have Paratalk Radio on Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out my Psychic Cindy page on Facebook. I have a YouTube channel as well, The Psychic Cindy. I will be doing more with my channel coming in the near future. I do have I have my thepsychiccindy.com, my website, and I'm looking to add more to that as well. But yeah, you can hit me up on all of these things. Also, Instagram is Psychic Cindy, I believe, and yeah, you can catch me any place.
Do you know when you're going to see us again?
I want to see like now. I wish I could have been down there with you guys. It would have been fantastic.
You don't know when you're going to see us again?
I know when you're going to see us.
I know when you're going to see us again.
See, I'm a psychic. I know when I'm going to see you.
Actually, I know when I'm going to see you again, which is February 29th and March 1st at Rochester Winter Parafest.
Yes, ma'am.
Wrong. It's going to be the 28th because we're getting there early just to prove you wrong.
I'm going the day early too, so I'm excited. We'll be able to hang out.
Definitely. Now, we've also talked to Dan, and he wants to. He's given us a green light to come down and kind of hang with him about an hour away at his house. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, that's amazing.
Yep.
Danny Class's house
Yeah.
is fantastic. I'm so excited for you guys. I've never been there.
No,
I haven't
I
either,
haven't
but
been there
I've watched the live feeds, and when you see stuff moving on the live feeds, it really freaks you out.
Yeah. So that's one thing. Is like I'm used to seeing spirit in my head and talking and communicating in my head. When I see physical stuff, holy cats! I jump out of my skin. It freaks me out.
Now, just remember the 2 rules of investigating when you're with us. Rule number 1 is if something goes wrong, don't run. Rule number 2 is
Really, dude?
unless you're Dave.
Really, dude?
Unless you're Dave.
We're ending the show on that note. Cindy, we cannot thank you
Love you, baby.
enough for spending an hour of your Sunday evening with us.
Thank you so much for inviting me on.
You
guys.
are
I
welcome
really love you guys. You guys are
anytime.
great human beings.
And
Yeah.
we will be in touch. Give Ted our love, and we will. We'll talk to you
Talk to you
soon,
soon.
but we will see you at Rochester in February.
Yes, I'm super excited to see you guys. I can't wait.
Thanks again for spending the evening with us, Cindy. We love you.
Thanks for inviting me, guys. Thanks so much. We love you. I love you. I'm saying my children too.
Hi, children. Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
So, episode 12.
Was that 12? I thought it was 13.
No,
we do this.
had a
We
special,
do
yeah.
this every week. Are you sure it's 12?
I have numbers I'm keeping track of. We have one special, too, that we called.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right.
Well,
so,
guys, yeah. Go ahead,
in
Dave.
2 weeks, we have the wonderful Miss Cisco.
Oh yeah, Cisco Murdoch. Journey Through the Gate.
It is.
Yes,
And-
we were privileged to be on her show twice, and now she's going to be spending an hour with us. She's
And I think I goofed something. I just had an epiphany. I think I was supposed to have John Buckland on, but I think I goofed the schedule. So, John, if you're watching, I'll give you a call. I apologize. My fault. I'm not sure. I can't find you in my calendar. I know I put you in here somewhere, So we got to have him on, Batman.
Yep.
And then from there, let's see. Next week is
We got
2
Ted
weeks,
coming up.
Cisco,
We had to reschedule Ted.
right? Because of sickness. Then we got Ted, and then we'll probably get John Buckland on. So
Yeah. So, all right, guys. We appreciate you hanging out with us for an hour. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
And we won't talk to you before. Happy Turkey Day.
Yes. Have a great Thanksgiving, and man, feel free to come on to Paranormal Inc. page and post all your holiday pictures.
Yes, all the
doesn't,
food. We love
seriously,
food.
it doesn't have to be paranormal. We
Food.
love you guys, and we want to see
Food.
we want to see how your holiday went and sharing your good times as well as ours. So,
Lots of love, guys.
one love, everybody. Thank you.
Peace out.
You've been listening to Step Into the Paranormal with Ernie Atwell and David Seiler. Thank you for listening, and listen in next week for another topic and more great guests, right here on WLFE DB Radio Network.